We are going to talk about dealing with toxic people, and this is a survival guide. This guide will empower you with practical strategies to navigate challenging interpersonal situations, build resilience, and reclaim your peace of mind. But before we dive into dealing with toxic people, how do we recognize toxic people? So, one is by noticing that people always show constant criticism. So they constantly put you down, belittle your accomplishments, and find fault in everything you do. They never appreciate. Instead of taking the positives, they are looking at the negatives. And if this continues, then that person is really toxic. The second way is through noticing people who are always involved in manipulation and wanting to control you. So they try to control your behavior and decisions. They often use guilt trips or they emotionally blackmail you. So their goal is to be criticized by maybe the entire team if you're working in teams, or their goal is to have you to put you down. But often, like we shall see, one of the ways is to protect your energy. You do not need to emotionally react or also revenge. We shall look at the steps. So yeah, then you can also look at the people that just live without empathy. They never feel anything for you in terms of work, in terms of team building. Yeah, they are unable or unwilling to understand your perspective, dismissing your feelings and needs in every situation. Remember, toxic people drain energy and harm well-being. Yet you are supposed to preserve your energy. You're supposed not to emotionally react because that may bring you into more trouble. And while dealing with toxic people, one of the things you should consider in mind is if they are luring you into committing some crime, then you should always be building evidence. Always silently build the evidence to guide you. So, how do we deal with toxic people then? Set boundaries. And how do you set boundaries? Communicate clearly. Use statements, for example, I need to focus on this project right now. Express your needs and expectations directly. Be consistent. Don't waver or let them manipulate you into violating your boundaries. Be consistent in your practices. Have boundaries, have standards, and having a standard is not pride, so please have it. Enforce consequences. Let them know that there are consequences of crossing your boundaries. Yeah. Limit contact with them. Reduce communication. Limit interactions to essential contacts, such as work or family obligations. If they are just friends, you can limit the number of times you talk to them, or maybe you study their messages and see why they are provoking. And if it's at a workplace or in a team, keep conversations with toxic colleagues strictly professional. Yeah, control communication, avoid unnecessary phone calls, text messages, social media interactions, and lastly, avoid direct encounters. If possible, distance yourself physically from them. Focus on yourself. Prioritize self care. Focus on your physical and mental well being through exercise, healthy eating, relaxation, dealing with positive friends, and then develop support system. Connect with positive and supportive individuals. Sometimes you're not able to control toxic people, which in most cases you really can't. But then seek professional help. Consider therapy or counseling if you need to cope up with the emotional toll. Remember, you can't control toxic people, but you can control your response. Remember, sometimes the toxicity of these people may not kill you, but what may kill you is your response. You might respond inappropriately. Learn to forgive, understand them, recognize that there are toxic people and they are in your circle, accept that, and you can't control their behavior, you can only control your response, then forgive. Do not go into revenge, resentment. Do not really go into that or acting out of anger. Please do that for your emotional well-being. And moving forward, please reflect on the experience because you do not need to For example, you've changed a team, you've changed a group, you've changed uh, workmates. Reflect on the experience, and because you're now equipped with lessons from such people, so you need to avoid similar patterns in life. Practice self-compassion, be kind to yourself and recognize it's okay to make mistakes. Yeah, and embrace a positive mindset. So basically, these are the key takeaways. One, awareness. You need to understand that toxic people set boundaries. This can be the way you communicate, the way you contact each other, the physical distancing, and then resilience, coping up, forgiving yourself, and practicing self-compassion. Remember sometimes to have the evidence, because sometimes the toxic people are luring into things they may not, that you may not overcome. So have the evidence at any time, and then yeah, have your way forward positively.